Greetings, Hi, the War Owl greets you, and welcome to Counter-Strike Global Offensive 101, a series of tutorials aimed to help gamers learn the basics of how to play Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This time, we'll be looking at one of the most, if not the most important weapons in the entire Counter-Strike series, the AK47. The AK47 is a rifle that can be purchased only by the terrorist team. It costs $2,700 and carries 30 rounds. Many players, including myself, consider the AK-47 to be the best weapon in the game. Why is that? Well, the AK-47 is a one-hit kill. The concept of a one-hit kill strikes fear into the hearts of seasoned gamers. It is the ultimate property that a weapon can have. To make things even better, the AK-47 is nearly perfectly accurate on its first shot. This means that, with the proper application of skill, a player with an AK-47 is nearly unstoppable. The AK-47 is a one-hit kill when getting a headshot, even with a helmet. However, when shooting through walls, sometimes it is not a one-hit kill. The AK-47, however, does have good bullet penetration. The AK-47 is a versatile weapon that is useful at all distances and in every situation. The benefits of the AK-47 over the AWP is that it can be fired more than once. In fact, the AK-47 has a fairly high firing rate, and the 30 rounds means you shouldn't be reloading this thing unless you're pre-shooting using suppressive fire or wall banging. Remember that you have 6 rounds for each player if you ace all 5, and that it only takes 1 round to kill them. Generally, when playing on the terrorist side, a player will save or buy light until the 4th round, in which case they will purchase either an AWP or the AK-47. For a team, usually only 1 or 2 players uses the AWP, which makes using the AK-47 the most common skill for players to have when playing on the terrorist team. In CsGo, there was an attempt to balance the weapons to allow teams to use a variety of different buying strategies with an array of weapons. However, the AK-47 still stands supreme as the premier rifle in the game. This means that if you're on the counter-terrorist side and you see an AK-47 on the ground, for the love of Counter-Strike, take it. Drop that M4 and take that thing. Even if you don't like it, ask your team if anybody wants it, and I guarantee you will hear, "Me! Oh, me! But remember, an AWP is more valuable to your team, so always take an AWP over an AK if you see it on the ground. So how do you use the AK-47? Well, there are 3 main ways to fire the weapon. The first is spraying. In Counter-Strike Global Offensive, the main change to the AK-47 is the increased recoil, making it much more difficult to spray with this weapon. Generally, players will want to avoid spraying with the weapon, and spraying is generally most effective at close range. The benefits to spraying is that you fire more shots in less time, and it can be useful when taking on multiple opponents at the same time when you do not have sufficient cover. This makes spraying sometimes a last resort strategy. To spray, first point the weapon where you want to fire. While it's important to always go for headshots, sometimes just getting in the first shot can help you win a fight. Because when you shoot an opponent in CsGo, they will flinch a little bit and you may throw off their aim. Hold down the left mouse button. For the first 2 shots, aim directly at your target. Then, for the 3rd shot, pull down slightly. Continue to increase the speed at which you pull down for the next few shots, and pull your mouse just slightly to the right. Once the weapon reaches its maximum height of recoil, hold the weapon at that point for a short period of time. Then move the mouse to the left, as the gun will proceed to sway back and forth at maximum height. The second technique is burst firing. Because the first few rounds of the AK-47 are nearly perfectly accurate, this technique is very effective. Bursting is when you only shoot a few rounds with the weapon at a time, and intersperse those shots with evasive movement techniques. Check out my sidestep shooting tutorial to see how to use this technique. For this method, you want to always go for headshots, because you'll only be shooting 2 to 4 rounds at a time. The first 2 rounds are generally fairly accurate, then the 3rd round goes up a bit, and the 4th even more. So you want to aim directly at the head for the first 2 shots, then pull down just slightly. You can practice this technique by trying to make good groupings on the wall. This technique is most useful at medium distances. The third technique is tapping. Tapping is where you only fire one shot at a time, and that shot is perfectly accurate. In CsGO, the accuracy of your shot is reset fairly quickly, making this a viable strategy. If you instead try to burst or spray, you will have to deal with recoil. However, with this technique, the shot will always go where you are shooting. For this technique, you also want to be going for headshots. Always aim the weapon directly at your opponent's head. Fire one shot. Then, after firing that shot, wait until the accuracy is regained. This only takes a matter of milliseconds. Then fire your next shot. If you do this technique properly, you will be clicking your mouse like a madman, hence tapping. This is most effective at medium and long distances. Stay tuned for more Counter-Strike Global Offensive tutorials. I'll be covering a lot of different weapons in these tutorials. I'll also be covering different movement techniques, different advanced techniques, as well as things for beginners. Well, I'm the War Owl, and I still have no closer.